about kind of talked to you before. You care to tell me a little bit about your experience, about what you've seen in Avery County as far as devastation?
I mean, a lot of the stuff, I've been on the road a lot, but we've had some boots on the ground here and some teams. So a lot of what I've seen prior to today was on video, was on cameras of places that I knew really well that I didn't recognize when I saw the videos. So today's the first time I've been back to where we live here and been around before I came to this, and it's devastating in a lot of areas, you know. And there's a lot of people that I see the need, and I see the need for a lot of help. So it was remarkable to me to see what the power of what the water did in some of those places.
One more.
I will say it's remarkable to see the progress that people have made in reopening roads, fixing water and wastewater systems, working to rebuild bridges and connecting communities. Still a lot more to do, but faced with this kind of devastation, it would have been easy for people to just give up and say this job is too big. But the people of Banner Elk, Avery County, and Western North Carolina have said, no way, we're determined, we're courageous, we're going to rebuild better than ever. And you can tell in just a month that people have been making significant progress, and I'm really proud of them.
One more question.
Yeah, last night, everybody's noticed how everybody's come together in the community and rallied together. One thing that's been really huge in this community, especially after the concert, not to jump ahead, but with the concert, there were a lot of people excited about the news that you've given about the 100 homes for Avery County.
Right.
You care to fill us in a little bit about what you can about
Where,
going on?
what I can,
a lot of hope for a lot of people.
and that's the key thing you said there. And the most powerful thing we have here is hope. And it's going to take a minute to get some of this done. We're partnering with Chief Cares. We're going to partner with Clayton Homes, and we're going to put, once we deliver the land to them, they'll put 100 homes in Avery County in 100 days. So as soon as we can get the land part, I have a team coming in next week that's going to descend on Avery County and try to get that part done for us as quick as we can, and deliver the property to Clayton Homes, and then they will put 100 homes on it.
And we're going to work with FEMA and them to, you know, obviously when you do that, you need infrastructure,
Yes.
you need to find ways to put it all together.
Yep.
And so we want to work with Eric. His generosity has just been extraordinary.
WXI.
Eric, in your song Carolina, you talk about how special fishing on the banks of the Elk River. How special is this place to you, and how heartbreaking was it to see what had happened?
I've wrote every album of my career but one in Avery County, right here. So creatively, it's been real special to me, but spiritually, it's the place that my soul's at rest. It's the place that I get away from what I do in the world to come here and recharge. So it's the most special place in the world to me, the mountains of this area.
And so how hard was it to see, you know?
It was hard. I mean, like everybody, you know, you see the place that you feel is home go through something like this. But I will echo what the governor said as well. The sense of community here, I know how strong that is because I've been a part of it. And I know that the power is going to come from the people in that community. So our job with Chief Cares to tie those together is we're going to try to keep people in their community and give them a home where their church is, where their school is, so that they continue to rebuild it from the inside out.
Yeah, Eric, I mean, you see this around you right now, this distribution center, the organization that these people have come together so quickly to be able to help each other. And then the concert on Saturday, $25 million. I mean, it's people all over the country really helping this place. Can you talk a little bit about the emotion behind all of that?
Well, it's a grateful emotion for me, and it goes back again to the hope. I mean, there's a lot of people that are in a tough spot right now. And it may be a minute before we can fix that. And that's what I was telling you, that's a North Carolina term for longer than a minute. I get it. I said a minute earlier, it's not a minute. But it's gonna be a minute before we can get to some of them and give them what they need. But the hope will sustain them in that meantime. So I think that's the thing with the concert and with what's going on the ground with all the volunteers in the community. That's a key part of this. And I think with the concert and with what you see around here, is providing that.
Spectrum.
You've mentioned multiple times about keeping people in their communities, how important that is and everything.
Critical.
Especially in weeks, months, years to come from this, how important is it going to be, and how much are you going to try to keep bringing things here so that people do have that hope and it continues not just right now?
As much as we can. Anytime a disaster happens, and this is not just in North Carolina, this is nationwide, we're pretty good at the 911 part. We show up and we help them immediately, right? The harder part is as other disasters happen and other things happen, and it's about keeping the focus on this community is not going to be rebuilt in a month or in a few months. It's going to take a while. The most powerful weapon in that is keeping the people who are going to rebuild that community in it. A lot of times what happens is people get displaced, they get moved to better infrastructure, and I think that keeping them and them having a chance to be in the community is what's going to rebuild it. So not just now with the first 100 homes, but we hope to do even more with that from a scalable standpoint as we go forward.
And I'll add to that small businesses are the backbone of the economy of Western North Carolina. And some of them are making decisions right now about whether they're going to repair and rebuild. One of the reasons that I issued an executive order upping the unemployment compensation from $350 a week to $600 a week to try to keep those employees of small businesses here in the area while those repairs and the reopenings are occurring. And I've asked the General Assembly to put in place a grant program for small businesses like we had during the pandemic. We've got several programs for them to get loans, but many of them are already paying off loans and may not make that decision here without having the employees and without a grant program. So we're hoping that the General Assembly will come back and help us institute that grant program to go to these small businesses because they are an integral part of the economy of Western North Carolina.
Last two, USA Today.
Can you, Mr. Church, tell us a little bit more in particular about what you did here today and what you saw?
I toured around a little bit before I got here and just looked at some areas that are areas in the summertime that we go to, and went to my house here. It was in Banner Elk. It's about 10 minutes from here. We went there. We looked at some of the infrastructure stuff, and then we came here with the governor, talked to the local town officials, county officials, and talked about what's going on with the rebuild, what's needed, what they have, and how we can help.
And then do you have any details on how you might select who gets one of the homes?
Great question. Not yet, but we're going to. There's a process there that we're going to actually hire another firm to come in and do that. Wish we could do every home, but we're going to start with 100 and hopefully scale that beyond that.
Last question, WCNC.
So, following that concert, we saw so many people coming out wanting to contribute and do their part. What do you say to people to keep that momentum alive?
Well, we got to keep it in front of them. You know, I would say continue to give. That's part of my job too. With what I do, I can continue, at least publicly, be able to keep the disaster up here and the relief efforts for Hurricane Helene in front of more people than just in the state of North Carolina, so we can continue to raise funds and raise what we need to rebuild it.
Thanks, y'all. That's the time we've got today.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
This isn't your home. I have to.